What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Lance, back with another video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the Resident Evil 4 Remake. That is right, the only other game other than Skyrim that has pretty much been re-released on every single platform under the sun. Resident Evil 4 is getting the remake treatment, just like with Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. The only concern that I have with Resident Evil 4 is the fact that, Resident Evil 4 really wasn't that bad looking of a game either way. It first came out on the PS2 back in 2005 to very good reviews, considering that it was one of the first Resident Evil games to be in a over-the-shoulder type view. And I played the shit out of Resident Evil 4. It was a fun game. And following that, Resident Evil 4 did get re-released on everything. Mobile, VR, consoles, I think even cloud. Literally, Resident Evil 4 came out on everything, much like how Skyrim got re-released on everything, except Resident Evil 4 technically did it before then because the game first came out on the PS2 versus Skyrim that came out on the PS3. But when Capcom started making remakes of their old Resident Evil games, it was clear that a lot of people had the question. We had 2, we had 3, so obviously 4 was going to be next, right? And they were right. Capcom eventually came out and officially announced that they were going to be making the Resident Evil 4 remake. And following that, we had a trailer a couple months ago, and now we have some official gameplay showing us what the game is actually going to look like. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out that gameplay.
How far could you have gone?
Tiny Leon hair.
Anyone home?
Right off rip, loved how the environment looks. You have to see Leon's face to see how much of a difference he looks.
Hey.
It's a dead man.
I read you. What's your situation? What the hell is going on?
I haven't gotten a good look at Leon's face yet, but it feels like it doesn't look as good as the Resident Evil 3 faces. Oh. The hell? Ooh, their necks are broken. I like that. That's creepy as hell. You know what? Something I'm definitely noticing, Resident Evil 4, the remake, of course, seems to be having a lot more of a actual creepy horror vibe than the actual Resident Evil 4 on PS2 did. Okay, he does look like himself from 2.
Bruce, this is Condor 1.
Hunnigan here. What's your sit rep?
Hey.
It's likely she's in this village.
Our intel was correct then. Well done.
Something's happened to the people here. My escorts are...
Shoot, that was that early in the game? Because even back in the old one, you didn't even get to like see anything too freaky until later on. Out the window. I remember here. Isn't this about the part where, yep, about to get lit on fire, boy?
Shit.
Wait, wasn't he still alive when they lit him on fire the last time? I guess they figured that'd be too brutal. Oh, lady got some hands. Oink. Melee combat was also quite fun. It's a cow! Damn, Leon, you gonna burn the cow? Wow! Mr. Chainsaw. Wasn't that a wooden door? Boy. Boink. Boink. Ooh, wait! He straight punched him! Ooh, god damn! Damn! Wait, he's still alive. Wow. So you can really see his eyes now. I feel like back then you couldn't really see his eyes in the bag either way. Whee! Leon said, I'm gonna go ahead and still shank you first. Chainsaw versus gun. Who the fuck would win? That trailer ended a little more abruptly than I thought it would. But back to the question. Chainsaw versus gun. Who the hell would win that? I don't know. I do remember in the old Resident Evil 4, I think he blocked it with his gun. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong, but I think that happened. Either way, all right, let's go ahead and address some of the things that we saw in the trailer, right? Like I did point out earlier, the atmosphere feels a lot darker. It actually feels more terrifying. As you remember, in Resident Evil 4, there weren't that many dark environments. Everything was pretty bright for the most part. Not a lot of shadows, not a lot of those other things, but that could also just be because of the hardware at the time. I mean, the PS2 wasn't a bad system, but I'm pretty sure we had some type of lighting situations in those games. But again, don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. Feel free to show me a horror game that didn't have any dark areas or shadows in something, and then I'll correct myself. But for right now, I am very much loving the environment that we are seeing in the Resident Evil 4 remake. It does bring in that element of horror that I feel like the original Resident Evil 4 was missing. Another thing that I really like is the fact that they have maintained a lot of the initial controls and features that were in Resident Evil 4. You still have those melee combat additions where if you shoot somebody on the head and you stagger them, you can then follow up with a melee attack, which was really badass back then. As you remember, Resident Evil 4 was one of the first Resident Evil games that really took that step into the more action realm, kind of leaving behind some of the more survival horror elements that the first 3 games had. And it seems like with the remake, they are trying to bring back some of that horror element that was missing. Now, we did notice they did add a couple new things. I'm pretty sure I do not remember there being a live cow in the original Resident Evil 4, where Leon shot the fucking lamp that was above it, set the cow on fire, and the cow went flying into everybody else that was in front. That was hilarious, and I look forward to seeing what other new little intricate things have been added to the game as well. The enemies seem a lot more aggressive. Don't get me wrong, they were always pretty aggressive Resident Evil 4, but just something about the way they are now. It looks like they're willing to throw hands with you. They're very frequently grabbing you, and then the enemy that we saw at the very beginning with the neck broken, that was very freaky. Usually when the enemies were further along in the Las Plagas virus, their head just pretty much blows up and the thing comes sprouting out. But it looks like we will be seeing some enemies where they are in a way zombified, much like what we saw in the earlier attack. Now, one other thing, I don't know if it was simply because of the trailer, but a part of me feels like it doesn't look as good as Resident Evil 2 and 3. I could be wrong, and it could have just been because of the trailer itself, but that was a vibe I got. The game looks good, don't get me wrong, it looks good. It definitely looks like a significantly upgraded version of Resident Evil 4, which is what we wanted, which is pretty much what we were expecting at the end of it. So I am definitely looking forward to picking this up whenever it drops. And I am now looking forward to seeing what they do with Resident Evil 5. After all, Resident Evil 5 was probably the first one that completely abandoned the horror aspect of the game, pretty much just going straight into all action. We had Chris Redfield all buffed up like the Hulk, and let's not forget the very classic and now very memeable Chris punching Boulder. Yeah, we can never forget about Chris punching. But that is it for today's video, my friends. Let me know what y'all think about Resident Evil 4 Remake in the comments section below. Are you excited for it? Are you going to be picking it up? I, for one, will most likely be picking it up. I already played 2 and 3, was very satisfied. so we're most likely going to be playing for. If you like this video, feel free to hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss one of our videos, and turn on that notification bell as well so you always get notified whenever a new video drops. Alright everyone, you have a good one, and I will catch you guys later. Peace!